Alright, hello YouTube. So today we're the 25th of December, and that's the day that I wanted to finally release this shit, which has been waiting for a year and a half. But today I pretty much finished the storage, so I'm gonna be able to release it like that. So I think we're gonna go over just quickly the functions of this thing, and then I'll show you how to use the storage and all the features that I managed to cram into it. So first of all, this thing is a multi-item sorter, which you can just take anything you want and just chuck it into this chest. You can put shulker boxes, you can put items, anything. It should handle as many as you want. And well, in the worst case scenario, you're just gonna have a bunch of cards sitting in one slice. But the lag should be not too bad because I put an activator rail over there, which is gonna disable the hopper cards. So that's gonna reduce the lag. Yeah, so basically, I think that slice was red, so our items should end up here. If that was the right side. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, so our cards are coming in. And first of all, you can see the whitelisters over here. I think that's pretty fucking cool. So you can change the items that go into your chests while you're still in the hall. Now, if you're in survival, you're gonna have to jump like this to actually access the chest. You can't reach it if you don't have block reach override. In my opinion, it's no big deal. So basically over here, you'll have these 3 chests that are going to fill up. And when the storage is done processing all of the items, if there are items sitting in these hoppers at the back, they're just going to be sent directly into the shulker box. When the shulker box is full, it's gonna go into this chest. But if you do want to keep your items set in the hoppers at the back, you can control that very simply with the control over here. So these 2 buttons are going to control the buffering of the items. So over here, this is the function that you're going to primarily use for this. So if you select this one, send buffered items to box holders, as soon as the system is done sending cards to all of the slices, it's going to let all of the items sitting in the hoppers at the back go down into the shulker boxes without you doing anything. But if you don't want the items to go into the shulker box and you want them to just keep piling in the hoppers and overflow all the way to the top chest until they are forced to go to the shulker box, you can just disable this, and the items are just gonna pile up until the shulker box really has to get filled to keep the items. So basically, I have a replica of the slice over there. So basically, you have your chests, you have these hoppers. These 3 hoppers can have items that overflow into them, and that's these hoppers that are going to be affected by the draining toggle. Now, if your items overflow up to this chest, regardless of the mode selected, anything that overflows over here is going to be sent into the shulker box. but it won't remove all of the items from all of these hoppers, just if you have items overflow into here, which was something that happened in the first version that I released on YouTube, and I think that was slightly what's the name for that? It wasn't amazing. Let's just say that it wasn't amazing. Basically over here, I just put a bunch of example layouts that you can do, because like you do whatever you want, right? You don't have to go with my layout, but I think that this layout is pretty much the best, as you can have a display block as well as access to this dropper and a null block to activate it. So basically what this is for is that if you want to eject the shulker box, what's great is that you can simply put an item over here, whack this null block, and the item is just going to go from this dropper to this one, and that's the dropper that controls the full box detection. So now our shulker box is here. And the previous box loader in the first version had one major flaw that I really didn't like, and it's that basically when you were to swap the shulker box and you had items sitting in all of these hoppers, there was basically a mechanism that used to lock this hopper or this one, I don't remember, and you would have to basically wait for all of the items buffered into these hoppers to go through this dropper chain over there and go into the new shulker box, just for the old box to end up in this chest over there. I didn't like that, so now it's addressed in the new design. The new design really took a really long time to come to. I think it took me like at least like 8 or 9 months, on and off, obviously, but still a really long time. That's the third version I had. I had a second version, which is the latest, probably. Wait, it's called V3. I really don't know which one is the proper one. Okay, this one has the cart miss set up to it. No, actually, it's just a regular multi-item sorter, not a cart-based one. And yeah, I had sliders going on, but it's just worse overall than this one. This one is just way better. Yeah, by now, most of the items should be there, right? Most of them. Not all, though. Also, if you do want to change some stuff about this thing, you can, for example, stop sending new cards. Like, for example, if you think there's an issue going on with the storage or whatever, you can whack this null block at any time. That's going to stop the cube over there from sending new carts full of items to the slices. Now, if you don't want any carts to go to the slices, and you want to force them to go to unsorted because you just inputted a wrong item or whatever, you can just whack this null block over there, and what it's going to do is that it's going to change the direction of this rail over there to this way, and then it's going to be bypassing all of these all of the slices, and it's just going to go straight to unsorted. When items are sent to the unsorted, they go into this shulker box loader, which is my 6-time accessible box loader. Really love it. And then they're gonna end up in here when the box loader is full. And similar to the slices over there with the box loader, which you can put an item into the dropper. Over there, pretty much the same thing. If you put an item into the dropper, it swaps the shulker box, and your shulker box is gonna end up here. Alright. So I told you how to input your items, and this is where you're going to input your shulker boxes. So they're just gonna go to this storage for the boxes, which I just half-assed because that's boring, and as long as it works, right? Yeah, so we just have a cart that goes around and sends a bunch of boxes to all of our systems. Now, when I took the schematic, the cart was moving, so I didn't wait for it to be stationary. That's why it broke. So you can ignore that. Over here, I put just a very basic manual box loader. So if you have stuff that you want to put in there, you can put it there and send it into the storage or whatever. Now, I don't even know if I want to explain all of the cube. It's pretty fucking jam-packed with a bunch of stuff. It's very fucking dense. You can't really see a lot through there. But basically, do I even want to start with that? Your items go into this box, not this box, this the input unloader basically. Did I disable it? Yeah, I disabled it. Okay, so we have our carts that pick up the items in here pretty fast. And then they're yeeted and sent into this chamber over there, and that starts a clock with our carts that are going to pick up our items, and the cube itself is going to sort the items that are stackable from the unstackables and our shulker boxes. So over here we have like 2 water streams. Wait, no, hold on. Actually, they both go to this water stream. So I could demonstrate that if I put a bunch of swords and a bunch of shulker boxes. We can see that happening. So our carts are going to pick up that, and they're going to basically align them against some stuff. Like over there we have a glass pane, and over there they're aligned against this block, and they're going to find their way into this water stream and go to their respective place. We should see a new one coming in soon. Yeah, a sword went this way again, because it's all gonna be swords. Then we'll get our shulker boxes that are going to have a different alignment. There you have one. They're all coming in now, and they're gonna go through this bubble column, and this is where they end up. So our empty boxes end up here, and all of the unstackables end up here. I put some storage for you to sort your unstackables by hand, because I thought that the unstackable sorters were pretty large, and I already thought that this whole system was already pretty large, so I didn't actually add it to the storage system. But if you want to, well, you can on your own. Now let's go over some safety features that this has, because I'm pretty paranoid that stuff could break, and so I added a bunch of safety features. All right. So first of all, when your minecarts and exit in here, I put this hopper over there, which is for you to put your whitelister items, your whitelister blocker items. So over here you have your whitelister. By the way, these items don't need to necessarily be filling all of these slots. You could put them all in here, but I prefer leaving them like this, because whenever you want to replace an item to add them to a slice, you can simply just do this, so you already know that you have the right count. The only exception is if you put some 16 stackables, like this sign is 16 stackable, so that would mess up the power level. You'd have to go with 2 items in here, like in this slice, for example, because the banner is 16 stackable. So yeah, we have this, which is gonna take out the carts if they have the items that could break the whitelisters. So basically what's gonna happen is that you're gonna end up with one of the item into this chest. I just put a chest over there. You're gonna remove them by hand. Anyway, you're not gonna have 1,728 times the same issue happening, so you're probably never gonna touch this ever. So that's just gonna remove one item from the cart, and the cart will be sent to unsorted into the shulker box, and the shulker box is gonna end up here when it's full. Next up, I put some water buckets in here, which are just gonna take the slots of the hopper cart if for some reason the hopper cart just isn't full. So basically your hopper cart, it should look like this, right? And with some water buckets like that. So if for some reason there's a slot that's empty or whatever, this is gonna make sure that the cart picks up the item, and if it doesn't fit anywhere, it's just gonna end up to unsorted. So it should be safe. Let's talk about the hopper locking and all of the adjacent stuff, I guess. So over here I have this very long fader clock, which is Ilmango's design, which I just Frankenstein into this because I wanted it to fit in a cube. But then I added stuff around the cube, so now it's not a cube, but the cube was there to start with. Basically, you have this repeater, which is gonna control the draining of these hoppers over there. So, like I told you, your items are going to just pile up into these chests as your carts are sent to the slices, and when the brain over here, the cube, realizes that there are no more items being sent to slices, and the slices are done processing all of the items and sending them to the chests. The hoppers over there are going to unlock, and the items are gonna funnel into the dropper and start to fill the shulker box over here. That's if you selected this. This over here, the bypass wait time before hopper draining, it's basically just what it says. You don't wait for all of the item processing to be done, and just whenever the flow of items stops into the slices, well, the items at the back are going to go straight into the shulker boxes. Normally, you wouldn't really want that, because in between cards that are sent to the slice, you're going to have a small gap in time, which is going to result in you having like 2 or 3 items sent to the shulker box per batch. So that's bad. But if you do want your items to be accessible in one slice, while you have other slices working elsewhere in the system, that could be an option. Although you can just, I don't know, you can just do this, right, and access the hopper at the back. It's still something that's doable. But yeah, the philosophy of this multi-item sorter is really to have all of your items accessible at all time. So that's the philosophy of it. Yeah, when the freighter clock is done, basically when it knows that you have had enough time for all of the items to drain into the shulker boxes, this is gonna turn off. And that's going to unlock the hopper locking. The fuck is that? Right. Okay, there might be some minor issues like that, right? There might be some. But for the most part, this thing works, okay? It's safe. I tested it a bunch of times. So you can ignore that very small issue, please. Okay. Over there, I put some bells, which just signal when you start. When you change the setting of these the upper buffering at the back. So when I send items in, they're going to ring, because when you start the system, it's going to force the slices to buffer items in the hoppers at the back, just so the items can rise into these chests before they can fill the shulker box. And the same thing is going to happen after a small delay. You're going to hear another ding ding with the bells, and that's when your items are going to fill up the shulker boxes. Now, the slices have what's this thing called? Overflow protection with the full boxes. I think we should go over there to look at it. The other side. Yeah. So basically, when the shulker box gets broken, gets picked up by this hopper, goes into this hopper, then it goes into this dropper, this dropper, this dropper, this dropper, and ends up into the chest over there. I put a barrel, for example. So if your container over here is full of full boxes like that, well, this is obviously going to start having shulk boxes like that, right? So there's no real way around that. I don't think so. But I did include in the wiring something that's going to basically send all of this into your chest or into the water stream over there. Yeah, don't worry. If you do have a shulky box that goes into there and all of this is full, just goes there and gets ejected into the water stream. But you can end up with some boxes buffered in there. And for that, we're going to use this function over there. Now, just because I want to prove that this system works just fine in under any circumstance, just gonna activate all of the brain logic. So that would be the worst case to actually activate it, but in reality I added a bunch of safeties, so there's no issues with doing that. So let's put some shulker boxes in there and pretend they're overflowing like that. Because we're going to pretend that this chest was full of shulker boxes. Now we all emptied them, but we can't really access the dropper below. That's full of boxes that contain all of our yellow concrete. So now we're just going to go over here, whack this node block. It's going to flash while the system is working. You'll see that my frames are getting pretty bad right now. That's because it's just going to click a bunch of droppers for a moment, and now our shulk boxes made it up there. Now, if it's really full into the dropper below, you might have to trigger the button over there twice. It seems like on this side it sent everything up, but on the other side, one box would stay into the dropper. So this is going to be directionality dependent, right? But yeah, no big issue. You just press button again, and that lets you do the handling of all of the items. So the clock over there that controls the hopper locking also controls the chunk loading. And the chunk loading logic was pretty simple to do. So basically, I put a player detector over here. So whenever you have a player that comes to the storage, we're just going to straight up activate the chunk loading. And after the player leaves, the chunk loading is going to keep working for about 5 minutes. And that's just to make sure that you don't have a player that just comes through the portal, just rushes into the input, puts one item, and just leave. Because that could start all of the processing into the brain over there, and you wouldn't have the chunk loading react in time before you unload the area, which could result in a big mess. So that's why I put a player detector over there. Should be pretty safe like that. But yeah, that pretty much does the whole thing, I think. I guess I can talk a little bit more about yeah, the cube, the brain. So like I said, you have your items picked up in there, and then they go onto here. They're going to be picked up by carts. The carts are always going to pick up 5 how do you call that? 5 water buckets. So they're always going to be set up like this. Then this hopper is going to take out 1 bucket, so it can collect a stack of items over there. Then your cart is going to go up this rail. The logic over there was made by Mooney. So it's going to make sure that our cart has items that can go into the slice, or it's going to remove the shulker box or unstackables. So unstackables are directly sent into this water stream, and shulker boxes are going to be sent into this yellow tube, which leads to the box unloader. Wait, hold on. Yeah, right. Actually, I'm sorry. I'm bad at remembering stuff. Where am I? Okay. Over here, when we have a cart that goes over here, if the cart is set up like this with a complete stack, it's going to remove 1 item. That item is going to be sent to the box unloader alongside shulker boxes. So that's why over here there's going to be an unstackable sorter to filter out the items from the shulker boxes. But the unstackables are sent there. I don't count the shulker boxes in the unstackable category. So yeah, there's that. And when the shulker boxes enter the box unloader, they're going to enter this queue. The queue can be paused when there are too many items sitting in here, because if we unload all of the items, we could be getting like thousands of items in here, and they would just despawn before they can get processed. So when we have too many items in here, we're going to pause the unloading of more items with the box unloader, which is going to be done by this science circuit over there, and it's also controlled over here with another circuit. It's controlled at multiple places. And then yeah, when the shulker box enters here, the old box is going to be broken and go into this hopper. Just going to glitch through this trapdoor. I can show it to you real quick. So if we do this, well, that's the newer box that we processed. And the old one went this way. And so, yeah, only empty boxes are going to end up here. So basically, if you input empty boxes into the system, they're going to go to the box unloader before the box unloader can say that it's an empty box for sure, and send it into here. Now over there, Mooney and I chose to use water buckets over there. That's because I don't know if you realize, but making a card-based multi-item sorter takes a lot of cards, and that ends up being quite a lot of iron, so that's getting pretty expensive. But that also takes a lot of space, and because I wanted to compact the space as much as I could, I decided to go with a stackable unstackable, which are water buckets. So the system is going to have the carts and buckets over there, which are going to be converted to water buckets when this chest runs out of water buckets. So if I do this, you'll see it's going to pick up buckets from above and fill this up. We're keeping things clean. And yeah, so yeah, your cars go from there, then they go to the slices, and Mooney did a pretty good job with the cart miss system. That's why I chose to go with his design. I think it fit really well with my own chest interface below. So basically, Mooney came up to me with a pretty simple way to just how would I say that? To remove all of these slots in the chip. Not the fuck, man. Okay, let me try again. Mooney came up with, I think, the best way to deal with these minecarts, at least for the access to the whitelister, because I think there is a better way, but that doesn't let you access the whitelister. So with his design, you just send the minecart straight to the cart eater, but then you keep all of the items going into the slice, and they're going to go through an unstackable sorter, which is going to sort out all of these water buckets, and then the cart itself. So you end up with the items that go into the slice, and the cart and the water buckets are going to be sent back in this upper line over there, going all the way into the dropper, and they're going to make their way back into this water tube and go into the brain of the circuitry. And this is with these water buckets and this cart that we detect that there are still items being processed with the slice, which I think is pretty fucking neat. That's really great, because you don't need to actually take an output from any of this at the back. So you can have the hopper locking and all of the junk loading. All of that thing can be controlled by the storage itself. We're like 40 minutes in. And I could talk about this still. So we have these gold block over there. If you lower down, you're going to end up at some point hitting another gold block again. This is for directionality fixes. So when you bend rails, the way they're going to want to bend is going to be directional. So you just want to make sure that by default your cards go straight ahead, and you really want to update the dust when you paste the schematic to check and see. Just replacing the torch won't let you actually update the rail properly. I don't know why. So if you paste this in a different direction, you might have to just do this. Simple as that. And that's going to be the same thing for all of these other gold blocks. So if we lower down over there, where is it? Oh, it's there. Yeah, this rail over there for the redirection to unsorted is going to be handled by this. So if you have the rail go to the other way by default, you're going to invert the signal, just like that. Did I break shit? I did, over there. Well, fuck. Let me do this. And let me power this for a moment, then do this. That way, if there were any issues, should be fixed. Yeah. But I didn't include all of the possibilities with this, because you see, where do the cards go? Yeah. So the how do you call that? The slice admission of the cards, if that makes any sense, is going to be dealt with these curved rails, and obviously that's directional. So in this side, on this side, you'll see that we just have a repeater going there, but on the other side, we're going to invert the signal with a redstone torch. So it's very easy to adjust. Very easy. And I guess that's pretty much it. I don't think there's anything else that you need to know to run this. So yeah, that would be pretty much it. So if you do find issues with the system, please let me know so I can correct it before I make the release of this official. But yeah, that'll be the early release writ. And man, if you're still watching this, well, thank you, I appreciate